him out. And so, unfortunately, he's gone. So he said he promises next month he will be here. Hare Krishna, thank you so much. And thank you to Adipurusha Prabhu. Our sincere gratitude for hearing him in the mornings. It's joyful. It's such a blessing for every soul that gets to hear Adipurusha in the mornings. Thank you, Haribol. So, Prabhuji, would you be willing to put the verse on the screen if possible? I'll just read it.
Just a minute, just a minute. Vrajila, while I'm putting up the verse, can you say something uplifting? It'll take me a few minutes.
Something uplifting is Ananda Bihari Prabhu. He's every morning on this amazing Bhakti Sangha. It's just so beautiful. I look on YouTube every day. I listen to the classes, and I'm just always nourished, Ananda Bihari, by your presence and by what you offer at the end of the classes. Usually, you're just such a gentleman. Everyone offers something. However, there are times when you say something, and I always relish when you share your knowledge and just your realization. It's just very, very nourishing for both Ekabir Prabhu and myself when we listen to the classes. So, Prabhu, thank you very much for showing up every day. Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't expect that, but thank you for encouraging us, Vrajila, Devi Dasi. We run on blessings and encouragements from devotees like you. That's our fuel.
Well, we run, Ekavira Prabhu and I, we run on commitment. And we learn commitment from devotees like you. And from all the devotees that come every morning and listen, to the classes. Every morning there's some faces I see. It's just wonderful that devotees are so dedicated to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Hari Hari. So we're reading today Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 63, Text 26. And because Adipurusha chants so beautifully, I don't think I need to do that. So I'll just start with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchavam Narotamam Devam Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamurdayat Nasta Prayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevayat Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhakti Bhagavati Nashtake. Hare Krishna. So the text, we'll do the Sanskrit and then we'll do the synonyms. Hello Daivam Karma Jiva Sabhavo Dravyam Setram Prana Atma Vikaraha Tat Sanghato Bija Roha Pravahas Swam Maya Shatan Nishidham Prapadye. Synonyms: Kala, time; Daivam, destiny; Karma, the reactions of material work; Jiva, the individual living entity; Sabhavaha, his propensities; Dravyam, the subtle form of matter; Setram, the body; Pranaha, the life air; Atma, the false ego. Atma. So many different, Vikaraha, the transformations of the 11 senses. Tat, of all this. Sangataha, the aggregate as the subtle body. Bija, of seed. Roha, and sprout. Pravaha, the constant flow. What? Your Maya, material, illusory energy. Aisha, this. Tat, of it. Nishidam, the negation, you. Prapadye, I am approaching for shelter. Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport. Time, faith, karma, the jiva and his propensities, the subtle material elements, the material body, the life air, false ego, the various senses and the totality of these as reflected in the living being's subtle body. All this constitutes your material illusory energy, Maya, an endless cycle like that of seed and plant. I take shelter of you, the negation of this Maya. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The word Bija, Roha, Pravaha is explained as follows. The conditioned soul accepts a material body with which he attempts to enjoy the material world. That body is the seed, bija, of future material existence. Because when a person acts with that body, he creates further reactions, karma, which grow, roha, into the obligation to accept another material body. In other words, material life is a chain of actions and reactions. The simple decision to surrender to the Supreme Lord, the simple decision to surrender to the Supreme Lord, releases the conditioned soul from this futile repetition of material growth and reaction. According to Srila Shira Swami, the words Tan Nishidham Prapadye indicate that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is Nishid Havadhi the limit of negation. In other words, after all illusion is negated, the absolute truth remains. The process of education may be succinctly described as a way of eradicating ignorance through the attainment of knowledge. Through inductive, deductive, and intuitive means, we attempt to refute the spacious, the illusory, and the imperfect, and elevate ourselves to a platform of full knowledge. Ultimately, when all illusion is negated, that which remains firmly in place is the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the previous text, the Shiva Dwara described the Supreme Lord as Sarvat Manam Kevalam Yap Kanapti Matram, pure, concentrated spiritual consciousness. Now, the Shiva Dwara concludes his philosophical description of the Lord by saying in this text that the various aspects of material existence are also potencies of the Supreme Lord. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti mentions that the Supreme Lord's own body and senses, as implied here by the word Tan Nishidam, are non-different from the Lord's pure spiritual existence. The Lord's body and senses are not external to him, nor do they cover him, but rather the Lord is identical with his spiritual form and senses. The full absolute truth, unlimited, is in fascinating diversity, is Lord Shri Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Om Ganatimirandasya Ganagana Shalakaya Jakshu Almilitam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shitatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhaktivedanta Tinamine. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So last night, Ekavira Prabhu and I looked at this verse and we were both thinking of Raj Bihari Prabhu because this is a perfect verse for him, given that he is such a scholar in so many ways and a practical application of understanding Sastra. So we appreciate that so much about him. And so there, Henry and Raj Bihari Prabhu, thank you both, if you're both here, for being here. We're going to pray to Raj Bihari Prabhu to try to share something that can somehow make a difference, possibly, maybe one thing in somebody's day today. So this verse, something we thought about, both Ekavir and I, we looked at the verse and we discussed it, even though he had to leave so early this morning. And the thought that came to both of us is a video that Burjan Prabhu sent to us from Vrindavan last year. And this video, the culmination of the video is a short video. However, the conclusion of the video was somehow or other Krishna, whatever it takes, whatever it is happening, connect with Krishna. And so this verse is very philosophical in so many ways. However, the conclusion of this verse is somehow or other Krishna, somehow or other, however that works, whatever it takes, whatever is happening, somehow or other Krishna. And so in the beginning of this verse, I got a little stuck with the simple decision to surrender to the Supreme Lord releases the conditioned soul from this futile repetition of material growth and reaction. So we've heard that so many times, right? We know on many devotees here are very seasoned and know the philosophy. And so we understand that the conditioned souls attempt to enjoy the material world. We hear that over and over again. In just Bhagavad Gita 101, or just coming into a temple, we understand that those of us that have come from conditioned life, that the reason that we may have been challenged or suffering is because we wanted to enjoy the material world. And Krishna explains that to Arjuna in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna why this is so. Why is it that the conditioned souls want to enjoy material world? And so that very famous verse that most devotees most devotees share this verse when they're speaking about the all-pervading lust of the living entities. And so that verse is from Bhagavad Gita 262, Dayato Vish Sayam Pumsham Sangas Teshu Pajayate. And Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Prodhab Jayate. So Prabhupada explains to us, or Krishna explains to Arjuna, while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. And so then because the conditioned soul have this lust, and this ultimately develops into anger, because in lust, oftentimes we're not able to get the things that we think we really want, or the things we may think we need. So Prabhupada then explains to us by sharing what Krishna is saying to Arjuna. He says, so then such a person will accept another material body. And of course, we know that continuation of this verse is from anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. And when the memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down into the material pool. So that's how the conditioned souls are going about in life. In other words, material life is a chain of actions and reactions. This is the first part of this verse. Srila Prabhupada is helping us to understand, and he's emphasizing very clearly that in this material world, if we are attached to lust, and lust comes in so many different ways, then of course we're going to have this chain of actions and reactions. However, as I said, what was a little bit of a stomper for me was when we read the second part, simple decision. It's a simple decision to take shelter, to surrender to the Lord. It's a simple decision. The simple decision to surrender. And of course, by making the simple decision, then we start the process of stopping this repetition of growth and reaction of these chain of actions and reactions. However, this simple decision is not so easy. And I guess I just wanted to check in with some of you here about this statement of Srila Prabhupada. Was it a simple decision for you to surrender to Krishna? I just want to check in real quick. Was that a simple decision? Maybe a couple of people, couple of devotees.
Yes. I think it's a momentary decision.
A momentary decision to surrender to Krishna. How did that momentary decision happen for you, Jeffrey?
Well, I think it happens every moment.
Okay. When it happened the first moment for you, how did it happen?
It's, I guess, in the first moment, it's an attraction that you can't deny, and then your brain just flips. You can't flip it back, really.
All right. So something happened, some kind of way. You got something, somebody, some book, something happened. And that was it. Your brain just flipped. All right. Got that. Thank you, Prabhu. Bhima Prabhu. Simple decision to surrender.
Usually, when your hands are tied and Krishna's on top and about to pummel you with his fists, that's a good time to surrender. And so, as Jeffrey said there, moment to moment, I am defeated. So, surrender comes with defeat. You have this thing where the police come and they surround you and they say they surround your buildings. Come up, we've got you surrounded. Come out with your hands up. So that's my surrender every day. I come out with my hands up in the air. I try to do the Swami stuff, but it's more in trepidation and fear. What do you have in store for me today, Krishna, to teach me that this was not the place that I was supposed to go, not the place that I was supposed to be, not the person myself that I'm supposed to worship. And surrender is a series of defeats.
A series of defeats.
Hare Krishna.
Bhima Prabhu, thank you so very much. A series of defeat. And so you're like the person that's being accosted by the police officer. All right. Ishwar Sundari, Prabhu. Ishwar Sundari. Prabhu Devi.
Hare Krishna. I think in the beginning, when I came into Krishna consciousness, especially later in life, although I knew about the movement my whole entire life, it wasn't easy because I didn't understand. I didn't have a relationship yet with Krishna because I'm so conditioned from, Catholicism and also corporate world. And your mind is just like, whoa, what is this coming into my life? But listening to the Bhagavatam, attending classes like this and, and other courses, Bhagavad Gita, and and learning about Krishna and then hearing about him and then seeing how it relates to your life and how really all the answers are really in the scriptures. They're there. And just like Bhima says, when when these constant defeats come into your life, and then you see that the answers to all of this is in this path, in the scriptures, you start to surrender. And you just one day you wake up and it's just like, Krishna, I'm yours. I'm yours. Just lead the way. I'm yours.
Krishna, I'm yours. Ishwari Sundari, thank you so much for the services that you're offering. You are assisting humanity at a level that it will live beyond you, because the service of wisdom of the sages is just quite amazing. Thank you so very much. And I see a hand in the temple room.
Hare Krishna. Good morning, Hare Krishna. How are you?
Purusha Prabhu.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much. It's wonderful. Just your burst of sparkling enthusiasm is very refreshing. Your spiritual master is empowering you. It's almost like, maybe even better. It says that when it's handed down, it becomes sweeter. We hear Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj speaking through you. My own experience, and from what I've heard, just like you catch a cold from another person who has a cold, where actually Krishna consciousness expands from person to person. And Srila Prabhupada's grace is available through his books. I first came across his books and a picture of him. And I put the picture up, and I couldn't take my eyes off him. I just had him right there every day, 100 times a day, looking at Prabhupada. I couldn't take it in. Who is this, and what is he, and what is he saying? And it says that first you have to hear about what's right. Then you want it. Those are the incremental stages. First you hear about what's right, then you want it. Then you find yourself speaking about it. It's not just internal mental activity, there's articulation. And then you start to do something in devotional service, some activity. And gradually, from a little bit of service, it spreads just like a fire spreads through the house. The whole house burns down. Pretty soon you find yourself absorbed in devotional service. Those are the stages. Krishna is always there with us, always reaching out. This verse is talking about so many aspects of the Lord. And there's that verse, Adantarasta Paramano Chanantarastam. He's within and between every atom, and he's also simultaneously in the spiritual world. He is working in our life every moment. I love what Jeffrey Yaakov said about the momentary decision. It's not just I surrendered in such and such a year, at such and such a day, at such and such. But I have to surrender now. It's like we're walking on a tightrope. You may have walked 10 miles on a tightrope, but the step you're taking right now is critical. You can't rest on your...
Adipurusha Prabhu, you are a jewel that's bringing philosophy with every breath that you have. So thank you so very much. Okay, I'm hearing myself echoing. So I'm gonna ask somebody else. Okay, it's simple. We've heard it from the sages here. It's simple, just a decision. Everyone has a different perspective on how they made that decision. However, what's the common factor is the beautiful, wonderful, supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. He affects our hearts, right? Because he's there living in our hearts. And so however we are able, whatever our perspective is, however we were able to connect, which was for some, just as Bhima Prabhu is saying, thinking fearfully, or as Adipurusha is saying, he's speaking philosophy constantly, hearing by hearing. So we're hearing these devotees. Ishvari, she's explaining how previously she may not have been so inclined, however, just by engaging in devotional service. I want to ask you this question. I want to have a couple of other people just answer this one. Is it easy? Is it easy for you to practice? Is it easy once you made that decision? I made that decision. I am going to surrender to Krishna. I met some beautiful persons. I ate some wonderful prasadam. I read this amazing Bhagavad Gita. I heard from the devotees. I just love kirtan. Is it easy, the process, to keep going on? Maybe one or two persons. Is it easy for you? Yes, Prabhu. I love it. The brahmachari.
Hare Krishna.
What is your name, Prabhu?
Email.
Okay. I've been listening to you speak on YouTube, and I love your beautiful accent. Krishna has blessed you.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the clarity, and so all culture has clarity and becoming Krishna consciousness. And well, I was thinking that it was a good point that we make. It's every day it's a new decision for every moment. It's a different way to surrender. So like when sometimes the difficulty is that we forgot that it's a beautiful process. Like I was reading in a book about how the devotees in the war zone, especially like in Ukraine, Bosnia, and those kind of places, they had to walk miles and miles to meet devotees, and it was like the goal of their life. It was just to meet devotees in temple. And then when I was reading this, I was thinking how much it's precious, the association that I'm having, and I'm just like thinking, oh, it's normal, it's just like ordinary thing, and I don't value it as much as those people who are just so eager to have it. So I think that's to fall in this kind of like illusion of like, oh, it's normal, or like
Yes. Beautiful realization. Thank you. Those devotees certainly make so many sacrifices just to help us to understand the urgency of Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much. I'm going to go on because this is, like I said, at this point, this is the beginning of the purport, and Prabhupada says it's easy, just make a decision. And we all made that decision. Everyone is here. We made that decision. He didn't say it was easy. He said, make the decision. Once you make the decision, then we need to go through the process. And then the process requires what I call resiliency, right? My spiritual master wrote me a note one time, and he said, I think I was going through one of my periods of just wondering, every day we're doing the same thing, whatever. And he says, Vraja Lila, he says, at a point in Krishna consciousness, it's just about being resilient and keep going on. Perseverance, he said. It's just about perseverance. Keep persevering and keep going on. And so we remember the story in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Mukunda Prabhu. And when Mukunda was told that, he wouldn't see the Lord for I don't remember how many thousands of years or whatever, he was jumping up with joy and saying, yes, okay, at least I will get to see the Lord. So even though the process might not be so easy at times, just the fact that we have come in contact with this beautiful Lord, this nourisher of who we are, our souls, the personality, the person that's awakening this love that's lying dormant inside of us. Just the fact that we were given that opportunity to come in contact with that person, that keeps us going, even amidst all the different struggles that we may all experience as we proceed on this process, because Prabhupada told us, it's lust. It's lust that keeps us here. And certainly I know I'm full of lust. I may not be, at this age in my life dealing with lust in so much on a physical level. However, that lust is always there subtly. And so to be able to be aware of that and to be able to understand only Krishna can help us with that. And so in the next part of this purport, Prabhupada talks about, according to Shira Swami, the word Tanishiram, that this indicates that the personality of Godhead is the limit of negation. And then he goes into explaining that. And Shira Swami, he's a very erudite scholar, so he uses this English language, which Jaini Tai's wife probably really understands. This language that sometimes as an American, I'm like, oh, okay, let me sit with this one. And so he explains here that after all illusion is negated, then Krishna remains. Krishna is there. So after all the lust is gone, after all the different emotions that we may all experience at different times, because the process is not always easy. And so when things are not always easy, if we're not doing our emotional sadhana, then certainly we may become overcome by emotions. And so Prabhupada explains here that after all this, though, after going through all this, the absolute truth remains. Krishna will be there. There's no way. Who is it that says this all the time? Once you meet that little blue boy, there's no way you can get away from this little blue boy. It just won't happen. We'll try our best sometimes. Devotees, many devotees I have spoken to, they share with me that, at times it seems like the process is so difficult, and it just becomes overwhelming, and the emotions become so high, right? Because, let's face it, sometimes emotions direct our lives. And so they make a decision sometimes, oh, I'm just going to go back and do some of the things I used to do. But then what happens? Krishna, he's still there. He's always going to be there. He will show up. I had a friend once that shared with me that he met this girl. Her name was Maya, and her name was really Maya. And so he wanted to get to know her. And so she invited him over to her apartment. He went to her apartment and he went to put his coat. It was winter. It was in New York. It was winter. And he went to put his coat in her closet. And there was this huge picture of Krishna in the closet. He was a devotee. And he said he just could not believe it. Like there's Krishna just staring at him in this girl's closet. And he asked her name is Maya. She didn't know Krishna. He asked her, why is that picture in your closet? What is it doing in your closet? And she said, oh, I don't know. I just fell in love with that picture. It's just so beautiful. And I just don't know where to put it. So I haven't decided where to put it yet. So I placed it in my closet. So that devotee, of course, as we know, had to leave there without probably whatever he was thinking. Because Krishna is always going to be there amidst all the illusion that we may face. That illusion, after all illusion is negated, after we come to that place where it's like, oh, this illusion of me thinking I'm going to enjoy another person, that totally gets negated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because Krishna is never going to go away. Krishna is going to show up when we don't want him to show up. He'll show up to help remind us. I see Bima's hand is here, and because I really love interactive classes, Bima, our dear friend, one of the anchors of this Bhakti Center temple classes. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, I'm an anchor, all right. Ball and chain. I guess that was my hand left up from before, but I did want to say that either it's Krishna showing up in person, which is a lovely thing that Krishna was there in his image. And of course, for those devotees who our hearts are clear, it's actually Krishna himself saying, but if it's not Krishna, then Krishna will, for my life, I've never had Krishna show up personally. But by virtue of speaking of Maya, of Mahamaya, who is punishing Adhyatmic, Adhidaivic, Adhibodic, the three prongs. Durga is Mahamaya. It's an aspect. And as I mentioned before, we surrender because we're defeated. Those of us who are stubborn as asses over many, many years, we need to see Krishna's hand in everything. And we see, if we pay close enough attention, if we introspect, if we don't at least lie to ourselves, if we're not lying to ourselves, we can see Krishna is at work, not only personally in his attraction in the deity form, in the devotees, in the sankirtan, in the singing, in the prasadam especially, but he's also present on the other side. He will sometimes sweetly give you a backhand, or allow Durga, allow Mahamaya to say, chastise you. And if you notice how quickly, especially for a devotee, I think it was Radhanath Swami who said that a devotee gets that special mercy, that when he's corrected so immediately that he realized where he is immediately informed as to where he's going wrong. and can immediately correct himself. Chastisement is, because we are so close to Krishna, chastisement is very quick, and that is actually very, very sweet of Krishna to give us that quick chastisement. Because the one, and I'll end it here, the one thing that comes from that is that we instantly understand that Krishna cares, that Krishna cares enough to correct us.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Some of us learn from chastisements, and some of us learn from hearing about other chastisements. And we decide, oh, I don't want to get that kind of chastisement. But yes, Krishna, he reserves the right to help us in whatever way that he understands is most beneficial for us to keep remembering that with all the illusion that he will be there. He will be there because, as we learn in the purport, this energy is a part of Krishna. Krishna is actually, the material energy is a part of Krishna, right? Krishna manifests this material energy. So of course he manifested because he loves us so much. And because of course we're like, naughty children, right? Children that just don't want to listen to the parents. And so Krishna says, okay, my sweet Radharani and I, we will give you a place where you can do all the illusion you want. And then one day we get this decision. We make this decision. Oh, it's just too intense here. Oh, Krishna, I'm suffering so much. Oh, my Lord. Oh, whatever. Oh, nature. Or, oh, looking into the sky. There got to be something else. So something. And then Krishna manifests for us. So yes, thank you. I was thinking about Draupadi as I was reading this part of this verse of Prabhupada, how Draupadi, she turned, like us in the material world, we turn to everyone. We go to everyone before we turn to God or turn to Krishna. And so Draupadi, she's an example for us, when she's going through all the challenges, all the different experiences that she's having, she's turning to all these people that she thinks can help her. However, at the end of the day, the only person that can really help her is Krishna. At the end of the day, she turns to Krishna, and then Krishna says, well, she's asking him, well, why didn't you come, as she's going through, this very horrific experience. And then Krishna says, well, you didn't call me. So if we call Krishna, if we turn to Krishna, Krishna will always be there. And the other person I was thinking about is Uttara. So Uttara, she immediately turned to Krishna. There were all these same people, so many of them, that was there with Draupadi. They were there with Uttara. Kunti was there. I mean, this great stalwart devotee of the Lord. All of them are there. And when Uttara is getting attacked with Parikshit in her womb, she immediately called for Krishna, immediately, because she knew only Krishna could save her. And so this purport is to remind us that yes, we will be challenged in devotional life, no doubt. Challenges will be there, and not definitely our emotions will go crazy at times. However, if we can be like Uttara and just know, like, there isn't anyone else. There's only Krishna. I was this morning, this is a little bit off the topic a bit, but somehow I don't know why this happened. Ekavira was gone, and I was, getting ready to do the class, and then all of a sudden this song came into my head, and I was like, Krishna, what are you doing? And then I thought, we learn as we study trauma and we study grief and loss, we learn to, as we teach this and study this, we learn to assist secular people and devotees to speak whatever it is that's going on internally, bring it out, share it with someone. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll just share it. So this song of Stevie Wonder came in my head. And the song is, you are the sunshine of my life. Forever you'll be my something, something, something. I can't remember, but all I can remember is you are the sunshine of my life. And if it wasn't for you, millions of years I would be, stuck in this mood of lust. I would be stuck if it wasn't for the Lord, the Lord's devotees, the Lord's pure devotees. And so for that, absolute, totally grateful. Then Prabhupada just talked, the last part of this verse is he talked about the different ways that people try to understand knowledge. Inductive, he gives inductive, he gives deductive, he gives intuitive, and he said basically those are material. I mean, they can be used for Krishna at a certain point. However, in the very beginning, it's based on our material consciousness. And he explains, Prabhupada explains very clearly in this purport that real education comes from us, as Adipurusha Prabhu said, hearing about the Lord. So reading Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, that is our real education. And there's a quote where Prabhupada explains, if one simply reads Srimad Bhagavatam, that person gains the topmost education. For if one studies Srimad Bhagavatam, not just read it, study it. He says, and that's underlined. If he studies Srimad Bhagavatam, and we have so many scholars on this class that actually study Srimad Bhagavatam. So if that person is studying Srimad Bhagavatam, that person will be well versed in every subject matter. Just imagine that claim. We'll learn everything. And we know that. We've heard that many, many times, right? We learn everything that we need to learn. Astronomy, every scientific theory that might be out here, we can understand it through Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada explains, he says, even if one does not understand a single word of the mantras of Srimad Bhagavatam, the vibrations themselves have such power that simply by chanting, one will be purified. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Srava Kirtanam. So just to hear someone share Srimad Bhagavatam, just to recite a verse from the Bhagavatam, that is purification for us. And ultimately, that is the ultimate knowledge that Srila Prabhupada wants us to have. So again, the Ishopanishad explains this, and we have just a couple minutes. And so this last verse is one of my favorite. Devi Esha Gunamayi. So Krishna explains to us that this divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult. Yes, it's difficult to overcome. However, just by making that decision to surrender, just to make the decision, then Srila Prabhupada's representatives, they will hold our hands and they will help us cross over to our beautiful Srimati Radharani and Krishna. Lastly, Radhanath Swami told us pastime recently when we were with him, really quick pastime. He said there was a devotee leaving his body and he was there with this devotee. And devotee said his last words. And the words that the devotee said was, "Oh, Mother Radharani, I am yours." So as Ishwara Sundari said, he was praying to Radharani in these last words, and then he left his body. "Oh, Mother Radharani, I am yours." So we are Krishnas, we are Radharanis. And because we belong to them, they will certainly remove all our illusions, even though sometimes they're painful. Thank you so very much. Nitai Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vraja Lila. Wonderful class. You represented your husband very nicely, even though he wasn't here personally.
Thank you. I miss him so much when he's not here. I miss laughing with him.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone want to reflect? Maybe there was a point that stuck up to you and you want to share, reflect it back? If not, I'll offer a testimony. We had Pandava Ekadashi 2 days ago, and me personally, I didn't do my best, I'll tell you that. I'm not going to get into details, but I didn't do my best observing the Ekadashi for Krishna. And then yesterday, the following day after Ekadashi, I had a terrible stomach situation. I won't go into any details, but I didn't eat a thing. I was in the bathroom all day, feeling very weak. I thought I was going to leave my body. It was really intense yesterday, all day. So Krishna forcibly made me observe Ekadashi, and I knew for a fact who this was coming from and what this was for. You know, when Krishna corrects us, he does it right away, kind of, so that you know who's behind it and what it is for. Just wanted to illustrate the wonderful point that was made in class about Krishna offering us corrections lovingly.
Yeah,
Okay.
how loved you are. You're so loved. And you know, Ekadashi was probably that day, the second day, somewhere in the world. So sometimes,
Yeah,
you
somewhere
know,
in the universe, I
yeah,
observed.
somewhere in the universe. We're interplanetary, and we're beginning to realize that more and more. And so, yeah, that love is beautiful. Thank you.
Are we supposed to be hearing this?
Hearing what? You're supposed to be seen by the Lord.
Keep correcting me, Ananda. Just keep it up.
Right.
I'll give you stomach problems.
I need it. Dina and Narayan, look at them. They're so blissful. Haribol!
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Shishi Rana Muladhar ki jai, Sugar Chandra ki jai, Vraja Lila and Kavira Prabhu's ki jai, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj ki jai, all the Guru Parampara ki jai, everybody on this call and somewhere in the other universe ki jai to you. Okay, this is the afterglow. Vraja Lila, you have a few minutes for the afterglow?
Yeah, I love to be with everyone. I love to hear from everyone.
Okay. Okay, open mic, dear devotees, unmute yourself and glorify Krishna if you feel inspired. Or ask a question. Vraja Lila is very qualified. Take advantage.
Lila should sing the lyrics to "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" are posted, and Lila should sing it. Come on, just scroll over to the lyrics. They're perfect. They fit perfect with Bhakti Yoga.
You know, my mind is so crazy, Bhima Prabhu. One time I was at a program for Radhanath Swami at Chowpatty, and it was this big, huge program, thousands of devotees. And so they asked me to speak, you know, share something. And my mind went to some other crazy song, and I just started singing it. And it was crazy. Nobody there knew that song. And then I, you know, very meekly look at Radhanath Swami, and he was smiling. So I was like, oh, okay. Not too bad. Yeah. Yes. So the apple of our eyes are Krishna, right? You are the sunshine of my life.
It says, though I loved you, though I loved you a million years, it says.
Yes, yes, a million years.
I've loved you for a million years, yes. Only in Krishna consciousness can you love someone for a million years.
Yes, and not remember, right? And then just by the mercy of one pure soul, Srila Prabhupada, we get to remember, we get to awaken that forgetfulness of a million years. Yes. How fortunate are we? And yes, sometimes it's difficult. That's a fact.
So what
And
do
we
we do when we feel it's kind of difficult? Srila Prabhupada says, what's the difficulty?
yes.
What is it? By the way, would anyone like to share what aspect of Krishna consciousness seems difficult for them? What's the difficulty? I'm just curious. Japa, maybe Prashanam is difficult. What is it? Maybe dancing or hearing. What is it that is so difficult?
Hare Krishna. Vraja Mataji.
Popi, Haribo, dear Popi.
Yeah, for me, I think what's difficult is that part of, feeling like I'm missing out something, that I'll miss out something in this, if I go too much deep in Krishna consciousness, that I'll miss out something. That's my honest response. I do struggle with japas, and my mind is all over the place when I'm doing japas, but of course, something to be working on. And I also wanted to reflect on about this, surrendering to Krishna consciousness, which Lila Mata asks at the beginning. For me, I think it was about hitting that rock button moment in my personal journey, after trying my ways, like reaching out to friends and family, and then nobody was able to meet me where I wanted to be met. That's when was like, okay, everybody's saying Krishna handles everything, and then taking that leap of faith of saying, okay, I'm gonna try that, take that leap of faith and see what's on the other side of actually saying, okay, Krishna, I did it my way. I tried to control it. I did it my way and it didn't work. And, kind of like saying, going with doubt, I would say, if I'm being honest, saying, okay, let's see what you have to offer. And that leap of faith does, when you take that one step towards Krishna, he takes that 10,000 of steps. And of course, it's not easy. Just answering the second part is it easy? It's not. It's, I think, being active and intentional about, it's just not that I surrender and then say, okay, Krishna, I'm yours. It's also, that's where the hard part comes, is keeping up with my japas, attending Bhagavad class, and in midst of, the daily life hurdle. So, I struggle every day, but, thank God to associations like this that I get to come and still find my way to stay connected. That's my reflection.
Thank you, Popi. Thank you for being so open. Krishna reciprocates through devotees, through situations. Krishna is there. It's very tangible, very experiential.
Yeah, transparency and honesty is the key. If we can become transparent with our struggles with the mind in terms of making the transition from being Kali Yuga travesty, we're just, products of this Kali Yuga. If we can become transparent and honest first with ourselves and then with others, then Krishna removes that veil of Kali Yuga. And we then begin to really experience that awakening, that love, that sunshine in our lives every day. Neha, so nice to see you here.
Can I share a similar, I'm Karen, but a similar reflection to Poppy's. I find that like a lot of the obstacles that I faced since, like I've been around this Krishna consciousness world since like 2011 or something. And I only just last year kind of really made the plunge, I guess. And that was, yeah, it was like completely alone and lost. My mom died and it seemed like my whole family was abandoning me. And that was how I kind of was like hit over the head with the one person that I could rely on, you know. But my obstacles continue to present, like, I mean, every day I get kind of closer, you know, but I feel like, you know, it's working this kind of life into my existing life, you know, working how my family will receive me, you know, my very staunchly kind of post-Catholic traumatic stress atheist family would accept a very kind of religious direction that I have taken, and how even just like the world of friends and that I have, and you know, I continue to navigate that, and the more that I spend time in this world, and you know, and on these calls and doing seva at the temple here, I'm in Zurich, you know, I think I get more internally accepting of myself in that way, that like if I can share that with like my experiences with my previous world, you know, the world that I had come from and then still part of, then it kind of becomes easier. And I do find it more that I'm accepted more, you know, like my dad, I think maybe was the person that I was the most afraid to kind of reveal myself. And I've been talking about it, like this has been going on for 13 years. I just called him about it like a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I don't know. That's my main obstacle, is like fusing my two lives together.
Yes. Thank you for making that decision. Karen, thank you for making the decision. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're in for a beautiful and wonderful adventure. And like all other adventures, sometimes the unknown can be a little scary. However, if you keep just persevering, just keep going, just keep, you know, like who was that little cartoon character? I forgot her name. Anyway, she said, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going under the water. There's some cartoon. I was with a kid watching this cartoon. Anyway, it's like that. Dorothy, I think Dory, that's her name. Just keep whatever it is that's keeping you going. Keep chanting, keep associating with the devotees, keep reading, just keep doing it, and you will experience such joy in your life. That joy will actually reflect into your family. They'll start experiencing it after some time. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. That's my takeaway. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Wonderful. Let's end on that note. Keep going, dear devotees. Thank you for keeping going. We love you. We need you. Thank you, Vraja, Lila, for the wonderful class. Thanks, everyone, for active participation. I feel like I'm in the forest of Naimisharanya, asking questions, receiving answers. We love you. Be nice to your family. Don't go crazy. Don't make a big deal. I am a devotee now. I just wanted to tell you. Just jokingly, you don't have to make a big deal out of it. They'll understand. Don't worry. Don't freak them out.
Yeah, just keep swimming. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you so very much. Jay, nothing like a team.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Prabhuji. Thank you very much, all of you.